Well, no one stole the picnic table.
Hi, Chuck.
This is Chuck speaking.
Hi, Chuck. It's Andrea.
Hi, Andrew. How are you?
Good. Everything is all set. Keep your fingers crossed. We're working out just fine today.
Okay, that's fine. I just want to sign anybody else on or just you and I at the moment?
Yeah. So under Chris is at the office. They're on mute right now. They'll unmute at 5:30. And Jen's also on the call and she's currently muted.
Okay. So what do I need to do to mute? Let me think here.
If you hover over your screen, your controls should pop up and there should be a little microphone that you can click and unclick.
Well, I'm on a cell phone, so I don't know.
Tap your screen that you're looking at for your cell
Okay.
phone. Tap it and see if your
Okay.
controls come up.
It does at the bottom. Okay, thank you. I'm not used. I use WebEx at my work. I'm familiar with that, but this is helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Hi, Scott.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Scott. Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hello.
Chuck. I don't know if Alan's going to be able to join us or not. Okay, well, it's 5:33. I think we should probably get started, and Commissioner Orshan can join us. He's out of town, and if he's able to connect in, we'll welcome him when he gets here. My name is Christine Craycroft. This is the June 29th, 2020 Board of Portage Park District Commissioners regular meeting. This is a rescheduled meeting held remotely via Zoom and live streamed on YouTube. The original meeting was scheduled for June 22nd, and due to technical difficulties with live streaming, we had to postpone it until today. So with that, I am here at the Portage Park District Administrative Office with Commissioner Tom Hurdy, the President of the Board, Operations Manager Craig Alderman, and our Administrative Assistant Rory Becker. Our Public Engagement Coordinator Andrea Metzler is hosting the meeting, and will be able to assist us as we go out of executive session, go out of regular meeting into executive session later in the meeting. So with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Hurdy.
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:34 p.m. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hurdy,
Present.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Present.
Commissioner McKinney,
Here,
and Commissioner Orshan may or may not join us through Zoom today.
Okay, the first agenda item is looking at the minutes from the May 18th regular meeting. Has everyone been able to review that? And are there any corrections or needed changes?
no changes here. I move that we approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a second to,
This is Chuck. I'll second the minutes.
okay. Could we have a roll or a roll count?
Commissioner Hurdy,
Approve?
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes,
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. The motion was made by Scott, seconded by Chuck. And the next thing on the agenda is the presentation of financial statement for May 2020 and year-to-date budget report and cash balance. Has everyone been able to review those?
yes, no questions here.
This is Chuck. No questions on my end, so I'll move to approve them.
Okay, and second?
Second,
Okay. Again, it was Chuck made the motion and seconded by Scott. Roll. Okay.
Commissioner Hurdy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
yes,
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. Then next on the agenda would be the executive director's update.
So I had emailed out to all of you, and it was posted on the website along with the rest of the materials, the update on behalf of all staff. Does anybody have any questions?
At this time, this is Chuck. I do not at this time. Thank you.
no, I do not either.
Okay, since there are no questions, could we have a motion to, we need a motion for that? No.
No.
Just move on. Next then would be the other information briefing items.
So yes, we are required to adopt a tax budget for 2021. And as part of that, we need to hold a public hearing. So this constitutes the public hearing portion of that. The proposed budget was on display at the Portage County Auditor's Office, in this office, and online since June 12th. And then If we have any amendments, we can make that tonight. Lori, I don't believe we had any public comment on it.
We did not.
Okay. And there isn't any public present in the office here today. So does anybody have any questions on the 2021 proposed budget?
No questions, Chris.
This is Chuck, none on my end either. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. And that would be under new business in a minute. The other item for Trail Lake, Trailhead and Trails bid results. We did open the bids for the Trail Lake Trails and Trailhead project. This is for the construction of the concrete trailhead gathering area and the approximately 1.6 mile paved trail around Trail Lake with some limited secondary trails for access down to the water. It involves coordination for the installation of restrooms, but that is being purchased through a separate contract. The low bid, let me just pull that up, was Woodford Excavating. It is inclusive. They bid on all three alternates. As a review, the alternates were the alternate A was a crushed limestone surface. Alternate B was the chip and seal surface, and alternate C was the asphalt paved surface. We did it that way so that we could, choose what fit within our budget, and with the understanding that our preference was a hard surface, asphalt surface, if possible. And we did get a good bid for that. So let me just pull up that file here. Bear with me for a second. The Woodford Excavating was the low bid. They came in with the base bid plus the alternate C of asphalt of $656,417.50. We had budgeted $800,000 for the project. So we are well within budget for that. And we did ask our consulting engineer to review their bid and their qualifications, past projects, et cetera, the equipment, their subcontractors, and their construction schedule. And all of that was fine. And they recommended that we go with Woodford Excavating. Their current construction schedule has them beginning, I believe it's the second week of July, and completing by mid-September. Since we had to delay the meeting, there may be a little shift in that schedule, but as soon as we can, we'll get the contract executed if you choose to award it to them tonight. Any questions on that?
No, not for me.
Okay.
Good on my end. I'm happy that we were able to get a successful bidder, and in particular for the surface type that we were all hoping that we could have there for that trail around the lake. Thanks for all your work on that, Chris, and others.
Thank you.
I agree with Chuck's comments. Thank you.
Very good. It looks like there's no old business. So we want to move to new business and approval of action items. The first would be resolution 220, approving the May 220 budget. I know briefly, even though we didn't meet, we discussed a couple things, I think, in regards to the contract services last week.
I'm not recalling what his question was. This is for the approval of the expenditures from May 2020.
I think there was a demo, expenditure on demo,
Right.
Trail Lake, and there was, I thought, one other thing.
Right. And again, I remember there was discussion that was handled and there was no issues from his standpoint. So I know he's not here. Is there anybody else that has any concerns in regards to that item?
None on my end. This is Chuck.
Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 220, the expenditures for the month of May?
I'll move. This is Chuck.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a roll call vote.
Mhm. Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go. The next is Resolution 220, the budget appropriations amendment. 2.
Yes, so as you'll recall, the board can modify its appropriated budget at any time, and the board appropriates at the unit level. And then I have discretion within that unit to move between lines. The amendment that was approved last meeting, I apologize, included some errors, some clerical errors. And so this resolution is intended to correct those errors. Does anybody have any questions for me on that?
This is Chuck. Can you just recap the changes, what you had to modify?
Sure. Well, there was a problem in my spreadsheet, and I had some leftover old numbers in there. So it appeared originally in that resolution that we didn't have as much money as we do. So I was able to put money back in that capital projects line. The other difference was I had the units confused for miscellaneous and cash advance and transfers. One of them was a 7 unit at the end. If you look to the left, that line of numbers on the resolution, one was in the miscellaneous unit and one was in the cash advance unit. Those numbers were inverted. So I just have to get the money back in the right account now. So increasing miscellaneous unit and decreasing cash advance transfers unit. And then for the Headwaters Trail Fund, we have the capital outlay of $30,000. The Budget Commission certifies our funds for appropriation, and they meet only once a month. They are going to meet tomorrow. We have submitted the information for our Eagle Creek Greenway grant, and hopefully they'll be able to approve that certification tomorrow, so that at our next meeting, we can then appropriate the funds in Eagle Creek Greenway and then proceed with that project.
Okay, thank you.
I would just point out that on the copies of the resolutions that I have, that the date still reflects the original meeting date. So just make sure we get those updated before they go for signature.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
Mhm. So I'm good with this. I move we pass this resolution.
Is there a second?
This is Chuck. I'll second.
So roll call, Scott, of course, Scott and Chuck. You got that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next resolution is authorizing change orders 4 and 5 for Morgan's Operations Center construction contract.
Okay. So as you know, we're progressing on the Morgan Operations Center. And as with every project, there are things that are, discovered along the way that were not anticipated, or some changes in plans or materials that needed to happen. Craig Alderman has been overseeing that contract and doing a great job with that, catching some of these things. So you had previously approved earlier change orders. The county auditor's office requires resolutions if it changes the contract amount from what was originally approved. So I believe I had sent out the first change order was for just changes in materials, ceiling tiles, windows, doors, things like that. And that was reducing it by $393. The next change order increased it by $10,310, and that was looking at removing some, reconfiguring some of the heating, air conditioning, adding a wall hydrant, replacing a door, changing some locks. Craig, do you have anything to add to that? You're most familiar with the project.
You know, two of the largest expenditures in that would be the coated locks, which are now mag locks, and we're still trying to get those ironed out. But that, and then the heating system adjustments with the geothermal, the thermostat controls, and how that's separated in different zones in that office area. That's the lion's share in that CO number 5.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions in regards to those changes?
The only question I have, because I don't have like all documents in front of me, is what was our budget, just as a reminder, for that project? And then where are we as far as what we have encumbered or spent so far? If you know that, I mean, if that's something that's.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull that up.
The
here.
change order that I'm looking at has the net total at $480,327.94.
Okay.
The
Yes,
original was 469.
Thanks, Scott.
Yep.
Do I have a motion to enact the change orders 4 and 5?
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve.
And there's a second.
I'll second.
Motion made by Chuck, second by Scott.
Okay. Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is the resolution 220, the award of a contract for Trail Lake Park Trailhead and Trails construction. As kind of discussed earlier with the low bid from Wolford Excavating.
Okay, the original resolution draft that I had sent out did not include the numbers just because we had not received bids that then, nor the bid recommendation. But I had emailed you all the replacement resolution. As I mentioned, the base bid for Wolford came in at $412,035. Their alternate C for the asphalt trail was $244,382.50 for a total of $656,417.50. That is below the engineer's estimate, so we are good to go there. I'm making a recommendation that you, with this resolution, authorize not only Wolford Excavating to get the contract, but that you authorize it for an additional up to 10%, which would be $722,060. Again, that's within our budget, and this could prevent us from having to wait for board resolutions if we make change orders within that 10%. Anybody have any questions?
No, I'll move that we award this contract.
And this is Chuck. I'll second it with the 10%. Yep.
Okay, so Scott, and motion and Chuck second.
Okay, Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The next would be the resolution 220, the adoption of the tax budget for fiscal year 2021.
Okay, so this is As I mentioned, what you've all had, estimated tax budget. If you approve this, we'll submit to the auditor's office, and the budget commission will then certify it based on those anticipated revenues that we'll have in different funds. And then before the end of the year, usually at the November meeting, we would appropriate those 2021 funds.
Is there, again, it looks like on this resolution that there isn't an amount, or is that supposed to not?
Oh, I do not have that added up yet, but what we do with that is we add up in case there were any changes
Right.
tonight. But yes, I will add up the expenditures for the general fund and the capital funds that we have. I don't have the copy.
Oh, sorry.
Lori, do you know what that total might be? Just pull it up. 2021, whatever we put down. Sorry. So for the general operating fund, we have $2,473,203. And then for the Headwaters Trail Improvement Fund, $673 and $673,750. Now that is for the primary project. There is the extension of the Headwaters Trail to Mennonite Road. That's the Clean Ohio Trails funded project. That large number also includes the financing for that project. So we will be cash advancing and cash transferring some funds for that from the general fund. So the whole project isn't $673,000. It is right now we've got it estimated at $360,000 for construction and $25,000 for engineering.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
Not from me.
This is Chuck. I'm good.
Okay, do we have a motion for the adoption of the tax budget for fiscal year 2021?
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve the tax budget for 2021.
I will second.
Scott seconds.
Okay. Commissioner Hurdy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is Resolution 220, authorizing donation of the conservation easement on Eagle Creek Greenway 1 to Western Reserve Land Conservatory.
Okay, so you may recall that when we applied for the Eagle Creek Greenway Phase 1A and Phase 1B grants, those are two separate grants that both comprise Eagle Creek Greenway Phase 1. We applied for that grant back in January. We were awarded both grants, which is great. Part of the application and our pledge that we would have Western Reserve Land Conservancy hold a conservation easement on the property. That allowed us to get a few extra points on our grant applications and may have put us over the edge. So I think that's a great thing, and they've been good partners with us. The conservation easement really doesn't entail any more restrictions on the property than what we have to give to the state of Ohio for the grant anyway through the environmental covenants. But it does mean that there's going to be an extra set of eyes on the property. They come out and do annual monitoring on that. They develop a baseline documentation report and make sure that, you know, every year that we haven't violated any terms of the easement. When I drafted the proposed area for the easement, I excluded the front parcels on the frontage of those both parcels, so that we may have a little more latitude without having to get their approval before that hand if we wanted to do any other development on those frontage pieces on those two parcels, within what we're allowed to do with the Clean Ohio Fund grant. So they now have changed their policy to help cover their costs in perpetuity, which is understandable, and they require endowment fees. They have staff and they have a legal defense fund that they have to be able to manage. If a future park board or somebody, were to go against the terms of the easement, they need to be able to enforce that. So they have requested a $7,500 stewardship endowment to accept that easement for us. So if you agree to enter the donation agreement that I would sent you, then we need to fund that $7,500.
And at this point, we've already been awarded the grant based on the fact that we had agreed to do this.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I move that we approve it then.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Then the last resolution tonight would be 220, cash transfer to Eagle Creek Greenway Fund.
Okay, so the Eagle Creek Greenway Fund was established last meeting, and that is to segregate the state grant funds. We have been awarded 2 grants totaling $1,143,670. Our match for the grant budget is for both parcels $324,780. Every time we do these grant budgets, it is just that, a budget based on anticipated expenses, and the way it finally pans out with the actual expenses is never exactly what we budgeted, but it's close. I'm going to recommend that we go ahead and consider all of that $325,000 a transfer, which means that it's a one-way movement between the general fund to the Eagle Creek Greenway Fund. I feel that we will use those funds even if the budget comes in a little bit under what we anticipated. We've got work to do out there. We've got buildings to deal with, restoration work. So in lieu of trying to track the financing of an advance and then having to return the rest of the advance, I'm recommending just a $325,000 cash transfer to the Eagle Creek Fund.
Okay.
I don't have any questions myself.
None here.
This is Chuck. I'm good. So I'll move to approve the transfer of the $325,000 to the Eagle Creek Greenway Fund.
And we have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thank you.
Looks like we've taken care of all resolutions. Do I have a motion to leave the regular session to go into executive session?
And this would be for the purpose of personnel, multiple personnel issues and real estate acquisition.
Right. And in regards to that, I talked with Scott earlier. We'd like to go with the personnel issues first because he's got a pending appointment that he might have to leave for.
Sure.
So do I have a motion for us to enter into executive session?
I'll move.
This is Chuck. I'll second.
Okay, we're moving to executive session.
All right, thank you very much. What I'm going to do is, Andrea, I believe, is putting